Today we will be covering MMPC 011 Social Processes and Behavioral Issues. We'll cover today Block 3 Interpersonal and Group Processes. We'll cover the Unit 8, that is Group Dynamics and Team Building, and Unit 9 Conflict and Negotiation Strategies. Let's discuss on the Group Dynamics and Team Building first, as is the Unit 8 of Block 3. What is group dynamic? Group, let's understand first what is group is. Group is made up of persons more than two, which is a dyad. When it's three, it is normally known as triad. The people who communicate regularly, they share their goals, they interact with each other over the time and build up effective bonds. They are known to be as a group. Two or more people interacting independently to achieve the common goal. The group can also be defined as two or more people with common interest, objectives or continuing interactions. The group of two or more individuals, when they interact in the existence of a group as a group, is necessary for the needs of individual group members to be satisfied. So that is the main concept of group. Group can be formal or group can be informal. Now, what is formal group and what is informal group? Formal group is created by, of course, two or more people who are in a formal settings. For example, a group of people at the organization, whereas the informal group can be, within that setup, within that formal group, there is a group of two or three people who have very common interest like hobbies and all, and it is not from an organizational context but on a personal context. That is an informal group within the formal group, but otherwise an informal group is where it is the people who come together with a common interest or common hobbies. They are not in a professional settings. Friends of group is generally known to be as informal group, but when the same friends are in the same group of persons, same students outside the classroom are informal group, but when they are at the at the school project, they are working on some specific project, they are considered to be as a formal group. Similarly, at the organizational context, the people who are working within an organization which relates with the organizational objective, that is a formal group. But if those people are connecting and they are meeting outside the organizational setup, apart from their organizational objective, that can be considered to be an informal group. There are different stages of group development. The first stage is forming. When the group is formed, when they are coming together, they are forming a group. Formation is happening. In this stage, they are aligning with they are checking out the number of people. They are focused more on how much should be the group members and all. Then there is storming. Storming relates with a very simple word, that is storm. When they really work on the interests, their beliefs, their hobbies, their way of working, their culture, and there are a lot of things, there are a lot of determinants which define the storming stage, and they settle it down. Norming is then comes when they are settling down with their the common interests, common objectives or hobbies or projects, goals or anything related with that. There the norming has happened, the norms are set up, the procedures are set up, the rules and regulations are set up within that group. Performing is when they are in action, when they are actually working, that particular group is working for particular action, they are performing. That is the stage 4. And finally, the stage 5 is adjourning. Adjourning refers to when the task is complete, when the objective is done, the project is complete, they adjourn back to their work, and they from the team, from the group, from that setup, that is the 5th stage, which is called as adjourning stage. There are different determinants of group productivity. Group size matters a lot. that is very important determinant of group productivity, because whenever the group is formed, it is definitely formed for some specific objective. So this has, the group size has its own advantage and own disadvantages. There is no ideal size of any group size. It depends on the nature of work. It depends on the span of control. It also depends on the factors like delegation, ability, organizational change, and personal context. There are larger groups also, which are more resources but harder to coordinate it, because coordination is very important when we talk about the groups. So in larger group, this is one of the challenge which happens to be that there is a lack of coordination is seen. So there is when there are smaller groups, it is easier to manage, but there are limited resources. It is seen that it is very easy to manage the small group because everybody knows everything about everyone. Sometimes it's like that, and but it has limited resources. It has limited people who really work on that particular project or that particular task. So optimal size balances the resource availability and coordination effectively. So the group size has to be not very large or not very small, because there it has its own merits and demerits. Then there is another determinant, that is group composition. The group is composed on the basis of similarities and differences among the people, the members of that particular group. For example, the age, the gender is one factor. The traits are one factor, background, cultural background, as well as the regional backgrounds. Sometimes the geographical areas also can be a part of one of the factor or one of the dimension of group composition. So here the task is completely influence ideal composition is a simple task. Homogeneous group work better, whereas a complex task, heterogeneous groups bring diverse ideas. When there is complex task, there are people from different background, different age, different gender, the geographical areas, they come together and they have their own experiences, they have their own methodologies of working, they have their own challenges, so they come together and complete that task. So there the heterogeneous group is preferred, whereas in the simple task, because everyone is aligned with that particular task as per their different dimensions. So the homogeneous group is preferred. There are certain traits like the responsibility, self-reliance, or maybe the stability and the responsibility enhance the group performances overall. The other determinant is given by Behavioural theory. This is when the performance improves, when the members have compatible. The Behavioural theory says inclusion is one factor where the need for interaction is very important. Control, where the need to influence others, whereas the A refers to the need for closeness. So there are the three needs which are mentioned by the Behavioural theory, where the inclusion centered and affection is required. So the group norms has to be the standard behavior and guiding group members, developed gradually, and it can be explicit, it can be implicit norms. The group norms are formed during the normation. There is a stage which we just discussed, when we are on the stage 3, when the normings are set up. So these group norms are very important at this particular stage. because here the norms are set up as per the standard behaviors, how the group will the group will guide the group members. So the Gurdon's 4 norms in 1995 was given as fairness. There has to be equal contribution. Reciprocity, that is helping behavior should be mutual, that every group member need to be reciprocate as per the the group, and resemblance is rational and fair interactions, whereas the role expectations is clear role definitions. So these are the 4 kinds of types of norms which is mentioned. These norms regulate the behavior, it enhance the functioning and reflect the group values. Hardly to modify, violations may lead to punishments or rewards, or maybe sometimes even exit from the groups as well. So the group cohesiveness is equally important, which is defined as members attraction to the group and to one another. Cohesiveness strengthen the work, the teamwork and the efficiency. The influence factors are member similarity, trust and openness. Then there is incentives of being in the group, or there is past success and failures of the group. So high cohesiveness leads to better coordination, communication, goal achievement, higher morale, motivation and loyalty towards the group members, and lower absenteeism and turnover is given. Group leadership. Group leaders are very crucial because they are responsible for direction, they are responsible for directing all those activities and which influence the members. So leadership style depends on group type and task nature. The informal leaders also impact the productivity. It depends on the task, because here when we talk about the informal leaders also impact the productivity, because they are very they talk to their group members or the team members in a very informal way about the what's happening in their life, or maybe just sit and chat with them on certain issues which they cannot be able to explain during their organizational or maybe the formal timings or in the formal setup. So that helps a leader to know their group members in a better manner. That definitely may improve the group productivity. Now let's see what are teams. There is certain nature of teams. Teams refers to when people are provide advice to management to identifying and analyzing issue, that is advising behavior. For example, a strategy team recommend the cost cutting measures, how to cost cut the as per the budget. Then the teams, another nature of the team or a character feature of the team is innovation. Innovating teams engage in brainstorming and discussions to generate new ideas and strategies. For example, a research team developing innovative business solutions according to the specific given task. Third feature is promoting. Teams takes part in promotional activities, whether it is product or it is service or it is strategy. For example, a marketing team launching a new ad campaign. So that is all about, they are promoting, they are advising, they are innovating the new product line, suppose. Then developing. Developing is another very important feature where the teams contribute to the development of products, strategies or organizational improvements. For example, a human resource can develop an employee engagement strategy, Organizing is teams plan and coordinate events, programs and workflows. For example, an event management team organize corporate seminars. Then another feature is producing. Producing, here the teams are involved in production related activities which ensure the efficiency and quality of the team members. For example, a manufacturing team assembling products on a production line. The other feature is inspecting. Inspecting is when team conduct inspections, they evaluate, they analyze the issues of the processes. For example, the quality assurance team, the quality assurance control team interpret the product defects. So, while they are working on the quality issues, so they evaluate and they analyze and report to the production team. Then there is maintaining, that is again a very important feature where the team ensure a positive work environment, high morale and motivation. A corporate culture, team maintaining employee engagement. It is seen that maintaining a culture, maintaining a positive organization culture or a work environment definitely involves that results in higher employee engagement or job satisfaction. The another feature is linking. Here under this feature relates with when team bridge becomes like a bridge, and the communication gap is filled between different groups of an organization. For example, a cross-departmental liaison team, that improves the interdependent collaboration. So, linking between two different departments itself is very important when it comes to the productivity, team productivity. Now, let us see what are the significance of team. Significance of team is addressing the complexity of modern workplace, maintaining challenges, leveraging workforce diversity, adapting a technological advancements, enhancing organizational success and performance, increase productivity, better decision making, facilitating innovation and creativity, strengthening communication and collaboration, improved employee engagements. So, when we talk about the significance of the team, we are in a there is a rapid technological advances, with rapid technological changing, and we are working in a modern workplace. So, managing all those things, managing even at the global level, there are different challenges which happens to be within an organization. So, adaptation is very important in these technological advances. Here the teams need to be very they should address, they should know what are the complex issues and how they can be able to create the success out of that. There has to be better decision making. They need to be innovative and creative, where they can also facilitate the other team members on that. There they need to be very good, and they need to have very strong communication and collaboration skills, where because every team when it comes to bridging or binding together, the teams plays a very important role in where the diverse workforce is there, and definitely it improves the employee engagement among the team members, among the different team members as well within an organizational setup. So, that is why the teams are very important. That is why they are that is basically that is based on the enhancing their organizational objectives and performance, which definitely results in increasing the productivity. Now, there are different types of team: work teams, cross-functional teams, top management teams, process improvement teams, project teams, self-managed teams, virtual teams and quality circles. Work teams are consist of those team members who are working on specific tasks, specific work, or maybe within the department. Cross-functional teams are those teams which work in different functional areas. The management team is more of a strategy teams. Then process improvement teams are the team of the employees who work towards the process improvement. They are evaluate, they analyze the entire processes and suggest the strategy team, or maybe suggest the project team members to enhance the productivity. Then again, the project team is when the team is created for specific project or for specific task maybe for a shorter period. For example, an organization wants to open their plant at maybe a new manufacturing site, or maybe it is a greenfield project. So the specific team is created to see the entire project and that particular team is created specifically for creation of new greenfield project or new manufacturing unit at some remote area, which is specifically for, and after the project is done, after the manufacturing unit is set up, that team is adjourned. Then there is self-managed team. Sometimes within an organization it is seen that the teams are self-managed. They create their own way of working. That is mostly happen to be in the setups where the small setups, or maybe within the big teams, there are sometimes it's seen that there are self-managed teams who are very innovative, or they are very particular on their own work styles, or when they manage to do the things on their own. It also seen in low budget projects. Virtual teams are all online teams, which is consist not only of the presenters, it is also involves the organizers, it involves all the people who are working on online platforms. So that is known as virtual teams, those who are coordinating, those who are presenting, those who are working in backend. So this is on because we are working in a AI online era. So virtual teams are created who are exclusively working for virtual meetings or virtual platforms and all. Then there are quality circles. Quality circles consist of very specialized people and experts who measure the quality of either product or service of an organization and give the evaluation and analysis of all these things. Effective team building. Effective team building happens to be when there are on the work teams, on cross-functional teams, on we have discussed on top management teams, then on preparing improvement teams. So the effective team building also happen to be on project team, self-managed team, virtual team, quality circles. So this we have just discussed all these things. So let's see the example of work team, where a marketing team responsible for advertising and promotions, whereas in the cross-functional team, a university faculty team with different disciplines collaborating on one particular research work. The top management team is board of director. As I said, it is more of a strategic and the leadership teams. Whereas the process improvement team is, for example, a manufacturing unit team is working and reduce production defects. The project team is where a new product, I give just another example of creating a new manufacturing unit, but the other example also is mentioned here as a product launch team, where marketing, sales, production teams participate in different phases. The first phase can be the research team, second phase can be production, research and development, then production or quality controls and all. Then it comes to the marketing, then finally it comes to the sales, or maybe after the feedback it again goes to the production team, through the process improvement teams. Then there are self-managed team, for example, a software development team working with agile methodologies. These people have very high morale and they wanted to do something on their own without sometimes without the direction, or maybe there is no proper guidance. So they manage and they figure out the solutions on their own. The visual team is like a formal IT support team which provides the services worldwide, maybe even on the global level. The quality control team in a factory is aiming to reduce the defects. The quality control circles are quality circles are the people who are experts in their own area. These are the small groups who are working on the improvisation and operational effectiveness. So these are all the teams. There are different aspects of different team building. When we say team size, we also saw the group size in previous slide, but when we say team size, so ideal team size is from 4 to 12 members. It is not a very small size, it is not a very large size which may lead to lack of coordination. This is the ideal size which can be which can be made on to increase the collaboration, to enhance the the collaboration within the team members. If it is more than 10 people, it is known to be as a larger team. Larger team have different challenges. They have challenge of coordination, they have challenge of conflicts, because there are different more the people, more the behavioral aspects challenges are there to coordinate with them, and there can be a communication gap also. There can be communication difficulties even sometimes on a diversified workforce. The smaller team, which can be lesser than 4, that leads to lack of diversity, that may lead to lack of innovation and creativity or openness, or maybe the opinions and the viewpoints. So the ideal team size has to be 4 to 12 members. The optimal team size not only increase the team collaboration, but also it gives the the purpose of the work is done in a effective manner. Then again, the team composition is very important. The members of the similar backgrounds or maybe the similar skills leading to smoother collaboration and less diversity is perspective, that is called the homogeneous team composition. Whereas the members have diverse backgrounds. If they are from different skills, they have different backgrounds, fostering innovations, but requiring effective management to avoid conflicts. That is very important, also important in some teams, but that is known to be as heterogeneous teams, where the complex subjects are there, where the different opinions and different perspectives are required from different background of people. Then there is goal clarity. Goal clarity is very important, because here the teams perform better on a SMART objectives or SMART goals. SMART goals refers to the specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time bound goals. Ambiguous goals hinders when the goals are not clear. They hinder not only the performance of an organization, but also the individual goals cannot be completed. It also create the confusion between the organization and the the individual, between the employee. or otherwise between the group leader or within the members of group. So apart from goal clarity, goal alignment or goal synchronization is equally important. Here the goal has to be very clear on in terms of the within the team members or the leaders. It has to be aligned along with the organization. Individual goals has to be aligned with the organizational goals. Then there is team cohesiveness. Team cohesiveness is when the stronger teams bonds and lead to better products, and they lower the conflicts, and there are very few when there is a cohesive teams, when the people are strongly bonded together, then there are of course a few conflicts happens to be the selection members, the members are willing to work collaboratively, and of course it leads to enhance the team unity. Then the other aspect of effective team building is management of diversity. Diversity refers to people come from different ideas, different decisions, different perspectives, different thought processes. So, however, it must be managed and well to prevent misunderstanding and conflicts. So, encouraging the mutual respect and inclusivity at the workplace is very crucial for effective teamwork, because we are in an environment where we can see the organization are working with the diverse teams. The only reason behind this aspect is that they can get the different perspectives from people from different backgrounds, and different ideas comes on a common platform where they can find out the best of the solution. Building trust is another aspect of effective team building, which is very essential for collaboration, coordination and within the team members. It is defined as coach members' faith in other intentions and behaviors. Developing trust leads to not only about binding together, it is about better cooperation and finding out the best solution of any problem. Trust is the base of any problem solving techniques. Then is leadership. Another aspect of effective team building is leadership. Leadership is refers to the leaders who are guiding, motivating, supporting the strategic leaders, those who are not only working on strategy, but they are also providing the feedback and encouragement. Training and skill development is another very important, which is based on the task and objectives. Conflict management is very important when it comes to another aspect of if the effective team relates with less conflicts. Effective conflict resolution strategies should be placed to ensure discussions. Disagreements are natural when the people are working together. Sometimes it happens to be disagreed on certain situations. So there it has to be managed in that way. So there are certain challenges also which affects the team member, that is changes in team compositions, interpersonal relationship issues and the communication barriers. Ineffective leadership, if the roles are not clear, if there is lack of clarity on the role, that also affects the team. Lack of trust affects the team. Ineffective leadership or the strategy people are not able to decide, that affects the team. Low motivation and morale affects the team. If the demotivated members contribute less, then there are certain disagreements over team on goals and activities. If they are not aligned together, they are not synced together. Domination by certain members is again leads to the team overall. So there are certain strategies that overcome team challenges. Our optimal team size should be correct, skill based team selection and training has to be there, the goals has to be clear, shared leadership must be there, behavioral training and positive work for culture should be there, conscious based decision making need to be included in that, supportive organizational environment, stress and time management training, continuous learning and development. Let's move to the conflict and negotiation strategies. Now let's understand what is conflict. Conflict is very natural disagreement which happens to be between the people or the group due to differences in attitudes or beliefs or values or maybe their own needs. So conflicts has both positive and negative aspects. Positive aspect of conflict help and address to resolve the problems. It whenever we sometimes we say the conflict happened and it gives a birth to the another birth to a solution. So it promotes the learning from differences, but there is negative aspects of conflict also which may lower the morale of employees. It hampers the productivity or also may lead to if there is continued dispute. So there can be there are a lot of negative happens to be within an organization. So there are different causes of workplace conflicts that can be because of first is poor communication, limited resources, interpersonal relationship, or maybe because of the leadership problems. There are general causes of conflicts that can be because of competition within an organization, differences in values, attitudes, experiences, or maybe the goals, individual goals. So a few of the example is disagreement between spouses over holiday plans is also a general conflict. Different opinions with boss on project budget is a general workplace conflict. Conflicting ideas with colleagues or implementing a new system is again a very general cause of conflict. So there are different views of conflict. First is traditional view that comes that was appeared in 1930s and 40s, where the conflict is considered to be a very harmful and behavior and it should be avoided. It associated with violence, it associated with turbulence, and the irritating behavior happens to be seen as a sign of management failure. Then the management should eliminate the conflicts by aligning the individual and organizational interest. Then after 1940s to 1970s, there was a behavioral view which came in a picture where the conflict is seen to be as a natural, but it is inevitable due to difference in goals and values, or maybe the perspective of people. It arises from all the locations, if there is any difference in priorities, difference in thought process, different understandings, different perspectives, that is a behavioral view. Then in post 1970s, it is more of a interactionist view, which is again a current thinking as on today at the workplace setting. Conflict is not only inevitable but also required for a progress. Management should regulate conflict to maximize belief and optimize and minimize the harm. It encourages strategic use of conflict for innovation and proactive behavior. So interactionist view, maybe we can see it this way, that whenever any conflict arises, it can be on a micro level, it is analyzed and find out the root cause of that particular conflict, which may help in further improvement of an organization. So there is different comparison of conflicts views, which is based on perception and conflicts, or maybe the main causes. About the traditional view says management failure, whereas the behavioral view says it is difference between the goals, whereas the today's thinking style is all about the competition to the resources and all. The approach to conflict is traditional view is eliminate and prevent, whereas behavioral is to see the how to resolve it quickly. It should not be linger on for the long term, whereas the interactionist view is more of encouragement and regulation. The role of management here on a traditional was to ensure the smooth functioning. In behavior, it restore the trust and confidence and communication, whereas today's thinking style is of interactioning, so it is more of managing conflicts for creativity and for to change, because change is very much required. We are in a rapidly changing environment, so there has to be conflict, and once the conflict happens, then the different strategies can be formed for the further improvisation of an organization. So the effect on organization is more essential on innovative and responsiveness as on today, whereas when we go back to the traditional view, it was more focused on how it should be resolved, whereas in the traditional view long back, that was more of disruption and it was seen as a harmful situation. So, different conflicts within an individual, then conflicts can be between the individual, conflicts can be between groups within an organization, conflict between an individual and a group. Conflict can happen between individual and organization, conflict can happen between group and organization, and conflict between organization. So, there are different levels of conflicts which happen from individual to organization level, from individual within individual, or within an individual. For example, a person really suffers, sometimes it comes out of anxiety or it has some behavior changes, so that is within an individual. When we talk about the group and individual, that is between the member of the group or a team and an individual, or maybe between the two individuals of an organization, or maybe two departments or two groups of an organization, and or also maybe conflict arises between two organizations. The main the reason can be the competition. The sources of conflict is competition for limited resource, then maybe diversity of goals, where the marketing wants more stock, or the finance wants to reduce the storage cost. So, there is the diversity of different goals, because here the marketing or the sales and marketing department have different goals, and the production and R&D have different goals. Task dependence is another source of conflict, where the work between the teams is interconnected, and here it can be pooled, it can be sequential, it can be reciprocal. Then there can be difference in values and perception, organizational ambiguities, where the two departments competitive over a new responsibility. Then there is introduction of change. Whenever there is changes happening, the conflict arises, and then the new strategies can be formed on. Nature of communication can also be a source of communication. When there is lack in transparency and lack in there is a communication gap, it leads to the frustration, it leads to the different adverse effects on an individual as well as in the organization. Aggressive nature of people is again very important cause of conflict, where a manager with an autocratic style clashes with the employees at an organization. The results of intergroup conflict or maybe inter-team conflict happens because of group cohesiveness increases, the group becomes task oriented, leaderships becomes more directive, or organization insecure becomes more rigid, or group unity is stressed. So the conflicts overall is bifurcated into functional conflict and dysfunctional conflict. Functional conflicts are conflicts that results in increased organizational performance and helps the organization to attain the goals. Whereas the dysfunctional the conflicts are conflicts that hinders organizational growth and prevent it from the achieving the goals. In this figure, in this chart, we can see the relationship between the conflict and the performance. It is the figure which gives the relationship. The lower on the lower the performance is, the lower the conflict is. There is you can see different stages of the the performance or of a person when it comes to, when it is low, how it performs, and it is an downward oval shape. At the optimal level of conflict, there is a functional level of conflicts happen to be, whereas it comes down when there is any disruption and failures are there. From inclined towards from the dysfunctional levels, it comes down. It is seen as a very important connection between the conflict and performance. The consequences of here, the performance can be positive consequences or negative consequences. The positive consequences leads to new ideas. It stimulates the creativity, maintain the change, and promotes the organizational vitality. It helps individuals and groups to establish the identities. It also serves as safety or maybe safety valve to indicate problematic behavior within an organization. Whereas the negative consequences happens to be where the it break down the group cohesiveness. Group cohesion is breakdown between it is increases the hostility and aggression. It also leads to waste the resources. It also threaten the employees' psychological well-being. Diversified energy is there, which happen to be from the work, and they cannot sometimes be focused on their productivity. It also increases the hostility and aggression among the employees. So there are different stages of conflict process. First is potential antagonism is there. Then happen to be cognition and personalization. Then third stage happens to be conflict and conflict management collective and conflict management behavior, and final stage is aftermath. So if we see the stage 1, it happens to be when there are limited resources, when it happens to be when the goals are different, when the tasks are interdependent or the values are different. So the antecedent conditions that create opportunities for conflicts, and these conditions do not always have to conflict, but they act as a trigger. Like limited resources act like a trigger, or maybe if the goals are different, that is not the ultimate conflict, but this is that gives a trigger to the conflict, that the conflict may happen. So this is a potential antagonism happens in this stage. In the next stage, where the perceived and the conflict arises. Actually, the conflict I felt that it happens to be that trigger when an individual or group interprets situation or threat, emotionally involved in parties, or experience hostility and fear or mistrust or frustration happen during this stage, because here the conflict is perceived and it is felt that it is happening, the awareness of potential conflict is happening, and the emotional involvement of that fear is there. Then the third stage happens to be when it happened to be there is a conflictive and conflict management behavior happens to be in form of strike or disputes or absenteeisms, negotiations, problem. Then the mediations also happen to be in this stage, where the management or maybe the trade union parties come in between and handle the situation. They create this conflict management strategies, which includes maybe the collaboration or the confrontation or withdrawal or appeasements or whatever be the strategies happen to be. Then the fourth stage is aftermath. When the conflict settled down, when there is solution out of it, that happens to be maybe a change in the structural policy, or maybe the improved behavior of that particular task or issue, or maybe the future conflicts. So dimensions of conflict handling intentions given by Thomas framework is given on when there are assertiveness, on uncertain. There are two behaviors, unassertive and assertive behaviors. When it is avoiding, when they are everybody is avoiding that, then it is when they are setting apart. Accommodating stage is when they are moving towards the same stage. Collaborating is a stage which is beautifully shown by these arrows, where the two parties come together on a collaborative on the same strategy and compromises. When the conflict teams or the two parties compromise on one particular solution, and competition happens to be in a very assertive stage, high assertive stage, where they compete, they are standing in front of each other and try to see further. That is sometimes happens to be in long term conflict. So if we see from this figure, so when it is assertive behavior, avoiding and accommodating is strategy or this behavior is seen. In collaborating, either it is extreme collaborating or when it is competing. That comes on a very when there is assertive behavior is seen, and compromising is a mid situation. There is another Parekh's framework is given on conflict management. Here the framework which is given is about the avoidance, the front end avoidance, that is registration or appeasement or withdrawal or definition of the conflicts as appear to be, whereas the approach which relates with all these are it can be, the approaches are confrontation, it can be compromise, it can be arbitration, and it can be negotiation. So these are the four basic approaches which leads to the conflict management framework. But the avoidance can be if the initial stages, it can be withdrawn, or it can be appeasement can be done, or the conflicts diffuse at a very early stages. The contingency framework is the contingency model of conflict management, which proposes three main strategies, that is collaboration, bargaining, and power play. If you see this picture, there is a flight. First we see if the conflict is either high or low. If it is low, the in-group integration is it is either it is resignation, withdrawal, or definition. When it is medium, when it is on mid, it is appeasement, it can be compromise situation, or then it leads to further compromising of those situations. If the conflict is very high, if the then it is on a flight mode, it leads to the arbitration, and finally it gets into the negotiation. So the overall in-group integration in case of high conflict is the negotiation is also a highest way of approaching the conflicts. So conflict can be prevent maybe to of course to manipulate communication channel. It is deviate the messages from traditional channels, and it repress the information. It also leads to transmit to much information. Then after the organization structure, it increase the size of the unit. It alter the organization structure. The changes can be made, the policies can be changed. There are different reforms that can be made within the units. The alter of personal behavior factors are very important in terms of conflict preventions. Here the change personality characteristics of leader, or to create the conflict, or to develop the the incongruence between the individuals. The conflict strategies refers to conflict avoidance strategies, that is ignoring the conflict and imposing the solution. Conflict diffusion strategies refers to appealing in superordinate goals. Then conflict containment strategies refers to using the representatives and structure of the the organization, or it depends on the bargaining power of the two parties. Then it is conflict confrontation strategies, which refers to organization redesigning. Prevention of conflict is a positive approach. Negotiation is a process of reaching the mutual agreement of two or more parties, is called the final negotiation. So negotiation process refers to the four phases, where there is investigation, preparation, there is bargaining, and finally the agreement. So there is distributive integrative bargaining processes, and the bargaining characteristics based on goal, motivation, focus, and information sharing, duration of that. The individual differences in negotiation happens to be on personality traits, poor negotiations, intelligence, emotions, moods of people, distributive bargaining with law. The other individuals are other differences are based on gender, that is based on collective culture, or maybe the climate influence, or even the masculine cultures. Situational factors can be on basis of location, that can be basis on the deadlines or the characteristics of an organization and all. Third party negotiations can be based on the mediators, arbitrators, and conciliators of the negotiations. The Gandhian approach of conflict resolution happens to be first level as goal and conflict definition, then second level is conflict strategy process, and third level is conflict resolution. That happens to be resolution should lead to mutual growth and transfer. So overall we have done we have learned about the importance of groups. Then we know about the meaning of the group, the teams, formation of teams, definition of team building, how the effective team building happened to be. We also learned about views on conflicts, that can be traditional, behaviorist, or interactionist. Types of conflicts can be is seen as an individual, interpersonal, intergroup, inter-organizational conflicts happen to be within an organization. We have seen the certain causes of conflicts on limited resources. diverging goals, task independence, and value differences. We also seen the negotiation factors, which is influencing the aspects, and on the physical setting, time, adherence, characteristics, and we have seen finally the Gandhian approach. So that's all for today in this lecture, and I hope I can be able to fulfill both all the learning resources. Thank you very much. Namaste.